Hey everybody, and welcome to the top 10 worst horror sequels of all time. Just about every horror movie has a sequel anymore, and it even did back in the day too, because if it makes money, it's gonna have a sequel. But that's pretty much it. That is a fact, it's just pretty much gonna happen. But some of these sequels they're terrible. They're bad enough to where you don't even want to watch the original anymore. And that has definitely happened with some of these sequels. It's a terrible way to tarnish a legacy. But anyway, let's dive right in. Starting off the list at number 10, and 10, 9, and 8 aren't really movies that I dislike as much as I just find them disappointing. So, I don't necessarily hate them, they're just, I'm never going to recommend them to somebody, per se. So, number 10 is Candyman 2. And the only reason I don't like Candyman 2 is not even because of Candyman himself. In fact, I actually think he's more brutal in the sequel. But the reason I like the original so much is the dynamic that he has with Virginia, the main character in the first one. That's the actress's name. And that was seriously lacking in the second one. And it just made it feel dull, kind of two-dimensional. So, Candyman 2, pretty bland. I mean, it's okay. It's worth a watch. I don't know. Not for me. Number 9 is Scream Part 3. I think the acting in this one is really bad. And let's also not forget about the terrible, terrible, terrible haircut that Courtney Cox has throughout this movie. I like the concept of the movie and how it's, based on a movie set and things like that. Like, I think those aspects are cool, but, like, the actors that are playing as actors, that acting is so bad and it's just cheesy, but not in a good way. Like, Scream 3 was, made in the 2000s. You shouldn't get that kind of cheesy feel to it. And it was just, I don't know, just kind of bland. And I think they did way too much in the third one. Like, the whole end finale with, Roman being Sidney's brother, it's a little too far-fetched for me. So, Scream 3, Another one that I think is really, really bad. Not bad, but another bland sequel would be Creepshow 2. I don't like Creepshow 2 that much. I think the stories are they're silly. I don't find them as visually visually it is nothing compared to the first one. The first Creepshow, the comic book style throughout the entire movie / each episode, that can't be duplicated again. And I think that they attempted to, and I think it just kind of fell flat. I mean, you can't, don't try to create magic twice if you can't, So, Creepshow 3. Number 7, Seed of Chucky. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Chucky when he's, all mangled up and scarred and all that. I like Child's Play. So, Child's Play 1, 2, and 3 are my preferred favorites. But I don't mind Bride of Chucky. But Seed of Chucky? Oh, it's so bad. I wish that movie should never have been allowed to be released, ever. The whole story of him having this doll kid who's like, I don't know, it's like if Norman Bates was a doll, but if he was lame and just, it's not worth it. I've watched it maybe twice and I'll never watch it again. So, yeah. Number 6, The Lost Boys, The Tribe. Again, some of these movies are just absolutely draining. This is one of those movies. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to watch it. It is nothing like the original. The acting is B-rated at best. They didn't even attempt to copy the first one even visually, so even the visual aesthetic of it is completely different. The vampires look completely different. It almost doesn't even feel like a sequel as much as it just feels like a crappy remake. And it was just terrible. It's like Lost Boys meets 30 Days of Night meets Dumpster Fire, and there you go. They call it a sequel. I don't consider it a sequel, so I watched it one time, and it actually made me angry. So don't watch that. Number 5 is Jason Goes to Hell. I wouldn't have as much of an issue with this movie if Jason was in it. I don't like the whole part of Jason dies and now he just kind of is this weird spirit that jumps from person to person. Like you just turn Jason into like Casper the unfriendly ghost, and I absolutely hate that, and I think it is so dumb. I'm sad that we didn't get a cooler, movie. And even if like you're gonna have this movie that is so bad, and then at the end you're gonna have the Freddy arm come out of the ground and grab the mask, but the whole movie itself is garbage. Like, if you're gonna do that, just put the cool scene at the beginning, so that way you can save us all some time. Anyway, number 4 is Return to Salem's Lot. After this sequel, you will never want to return to Salem's Lot. It's just, again, watered down. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the original Salem's Lot is not all that in a bag of chips either. But, I mean, I didn't think you could make it more bland, and they most certainly did. The main character is a dad and his kid. You don't like the kid. You don't feel bad for the kid. He's mean. Then it's more like a cult movie than it is a vampire movie. And it's just odd. The head vampire's just like an old dude. Like, he's not even creepy, he's just old. And when he's a vampire, he looks the same. Like, he doesn't even change, and it's a waste of time. Like, I laughed when the movie was over because I just could not believe how much time I just wasted. So no, don't watch. It's not like a Pet Sematary 2 situation. It's just a bad situation. So don't watch Return to Salem's Lot. Mm-hmm. Number 3 on this list is Jeepers Creepers 2. I hate Jeepers Creepers 2 because I love Jeepers Creepers 1. Justin Long gave a magnificent performance in part 1, as most people would agree. And I don't know what their idea was behind making the sequel. It was like, oh, cool. We have this really awesome movie, this really cool monster. Why don't we make the sequel, take all of that, and contain it to a school bus in the middle of nowhere? Yeah, that's it. I think that is so stupid. Because, I mean, the fact of the matter is, setting is everything. You wouldn't watch Halloween if it was in LA. No, it's got Haddonfield. Jeepers Creepers 2 has a bus. There's nothing cool about that. It's just a monster picking off kids one by one out of a school bus. So, I don't really need to. There's nothing more to say. It's just bad. Anyway, number 2 is Freddys Dead. The only reason this isn't number 1 is because I think Carlos's death is really cool and I really, really enjoyed it. Other than that, this movie is a train wreck. Freddy is a joke. Nobody takes him seriously. The whole story is a joke. I mean, literally, you start this movie seeing him on a witch's broom, like straight out of Wizard of Oz, like just absurdness. the whole thing with Freddie's daughter and all of this, like, it just does not make sense. It's dumb. It is clearly a money grab. But Carlos and the ear death was pretty cool, so that's literally the only redeeming quality about Freddys Dead. And again, these are just my opinions, so just take them with a grain of salt. Everyone's allowed to, have their opinion. You do not have to agree with mine. But, yeah, no, Freddys Dead is terrible. But anyway, this isn't even number one. Number one is a tie, actually. It's a tie between Jason X and Halloween Resurrection. We'll start with Jason X. It's Jason in space. Anything in space is not going to turn out good. Like, I don't know why they thought that was going to work, because it didn't. The acting is so bad. Like, when they're talking about, what is this air filtering apparatus or whatever, and he's like, it's a hockey mask. Oh my gosh. Why? How can you even watch this back in editing and be like, yeah, people are totally going to go to the movies to watch this? I don't know what's worse, the fact that they made it or the fact that people actually went to go see it. And, like, I know a lot of people defend it and they're like, oh, but his suit at the end is so cool. I don't even care. I don't even think it's cool because it's not even Jason. It's a metal knockoff Terminator dude in a spaceship. Like, that's not cool. It's just ruining it. So no. Jason X, like, I don't even own the movie because I hate it that much. So no. And then Halloween Resurrection, we all know how bad that movie is. It is widely known as probably one of, if not the worst horror sequel of all time. I mean, you have Busta Rhymes, you have the ugliest Halloween mask in history. I mean, he has eyebrows. Michael Myers has eyebrows, and not like normal eyebrows, like bad eyebrows. You have karate. Just so many absurd things in one movie. But, I mean, to each their own, except I'm pretty sure no one on the planet is gonna like Halloween Resurrection, in all seriousness. Well, those are the top 10/11 of the worst horror sequels in my opinion. You can watch these if you want to. I don't recommend any, obviously. But I mean, I don't know. It's a fun thing to do, and sometimes watching these bad movies are fun. I mean, if you're bored and you just want to watch a bad movie, that's totally fine. So if that's what you want to do, you do you, Glen Coco. You just keep watching these scary movies. I'll keep talking about them, and we can just keep doing these videos. So, y'all take it easy. Everyone have a Merry Christmas or a Happy Holiday, and I'll catch you next time.